Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video. Hope you guys are all doing well. I just came back from walking my dogs and now I'm going to be pushing some ladder. As you can see, I'm in the Champion League, 4 wins away from Grand Champion League 8 on the Path of Legends, the new ladder format. And I'm using my own custom-made Monk Xbow deck, so I have the Musketeer in here to try and counter the meta in a way. I created this deck myself after feeling like normal Xbow Cycle is just kind of unplayable in this meta. Obviously, if you play super well, you can still have success, but it got to the point where I was getting quite frustrated, so I decided to make my own deck, and I've been doing pretty well so far. So into the first match here, we do have the Monk in here, which the only reason I'm using him is because he counters other monks, and as you know, Monk is a straight up hard counter to Xbow, but what I realized if you watched my first look at the Monk in Xbow, the Xbow plus Meditative Monk video, which did super well, if you guys watched that for the 12 win, you'll notice that you can actually reflect opposing monks' reflections of your Xbows back at the monk. That sentence was quite a tongue twister, but basically what I'm saying is, if the opponent reflects your Xbow bolts back at it with their monk, if you have a monk in between their monk and your Xbow, you can deflect it back, which effectively renders it useless, and so there won't be any reflection of any sort. It's kind of complicated, but I'll try and show you guys what I mean if I can get it in a match. You see Elite Barbarians here, which is quite weird because based on the tombstone and everything else, I thought it might be some kind of graveyard deck, but with Elite Barbarians I'm really thrown off. I have no idea. I also have the Rocket in here because I feel like it provides a better sort of win condition against decks that you can't really break through, whereas Fireball, you do kind of need to rely on an Xbow connection, which can be kind of impossible in some matchups. Going to Monk right here at the bridge, protect my Xbow, and spam the ability as early as I can. As you can see, it deflects the Mega Minion shots back at itself, which is kind of ridiculous, and it's just tanking forever against the Knight and the Barbarrel. He does have to go for a high poison and a tombstone. I could log this tombstone, but I think I'm just going to wait because there's not really much of a point. I still have a pretty nice damage lead, and I'm finding out more about his deck. I mean, considering he has poison, I'm fairly certain it is going to be graveyard, so I'm not really sure what the Elite Barbarians are doing in here, but anyways, I guess I'm just going to cycle a log. And I also have the Electro Spirit in here because there are some interactions that are interesting, so I've actually created this deck with quite a few considerations in mind, just trying to make the best Xbow deck to counter the meta, I guess. Okay, it does go for a Knight, so I'm going to go Monk at the bridge, block the Knight before it can tank for my tower, and then just E-Spirit to clean up the rest of the graveyard. As you can see, E-Spirit does amazing against the graveyard skeletons. Also going to log in skeletons on the E-Barbs, and unfortunately E-Barbs are still a super good Xbow counter as well, so that is going to be a dead Xbow. But I have actually outcycled his E-Barbs now, so unfortunately one gets a hit. I think I'm going to have to switch to the right lane now. It looks like he did actually predict me to go in the left with that Mega Minion. He actually has an Archer Queen in here, which is kind of interesting. I actually was not expecting that at all. That is just going to destroy my Xbow, unfortunately. But yeah, it's looking interesting. Like, this is the weirdest graveyard deck I've ever seen. Like, he has E-Barbs in here. I guess that's the biggest thing that stands out. He has Tombstone, but he doesn't actually have any like Skeleton King or anything with it, just a Tombstone. Just gonna Naked Rocket there because I kind of need to get tower damage, and I guess since I already have all the damage in the left, I might as well just go in the left. So at this point, this is where my idea of the Rocket comes into play. Also gonna pop my Monk ability right here. As you can see, it does amazing against the Queen, and it also does deflect the Mega Minion. Gonna E-Spirit for the Graveyard and then log to make sure I don't take too much damage. And so Graveyard is actually quite a popular deck. I actually think I just got a deflected Barbarrel on his tower, which is pretty hilarious. But yeah, I actually got one hit thanks to that. I do have a healthy Xbow, somewhat healthy at least. It's almost dead, but since I have one on the board, I'm just going to Rocket again. And this is what I was talking about, where you can use a Rocket as an alternate win condition. And Monk is just doing so well because it's deflecting the Queen really well. If he uses the ability, it's just going to be a wasted 1 Elixir because, as you guys know, Monk also takes 80% less damage in the state when it's doing that deflection. I think it's called Pensive Protection or something like that. But in that state where the ability, it takes 80% less damage, so it's just really ridiculous. And it will fully shut down the Queen. Gonna go for a Musketeer. So my main graveyard defense, I've really started to get a feel for this deck, and I'm kind of understanding different matchups better, although I still have a lot to learn still. Basically, against graveyards, I have pretty good responses with the #1 defensive Xbow if I need to, but #2, Electro Spirit and Log are both amazing against graveyard, and then I do have to go for a Musketeer on the graveyard, because Monk I'd rather use against everything else, and Musketeer is pretty much my only real single target DPS. I could also Tesla, but I'd rather not Tesla the graveyard, of course. I think that's kind of weird, and I'd rather Tesla his troops. As you can see, I'm actually out-damaging him with my rocket cycle because I'm actually defending pretty well, even though I don't have a particularly good graveyard defense in like individual cards. Like I don't have archers in here, which normally do great against the graveyard, where 3.0 has a really easy time defending it. Here I'm just going to Monk because there's only 20 seconds left, might as well just get the defense in, and he does Knight the bridge for some reason, just going to Tesla in the middle. I don't really know what that was about, and as you can see here, this queen is not going to do anything. Just going to skeletons in case it gets too close, but going to pop my ability again, and the queen is going to get destroyed. So queen is in a really bad spot if Monk gets popular in this meta, because of how well Monk does against it. But that was just a really nice match, showcasing my deck. I feel like, you know, Monk got value. I tried to go for an Xbow connection, but the alternate win con in the form of the rocket was also shown because I wasn't able to break through, and so I feel like this deck has a lot of outplay potential, and I'm really glad that I made it, and I hope I can get to Ultimate Champion with it. I will try. But that's going to put me one win closer to Grand Champion for now. Alright, so looking for the next match, and we did find it against Cool Guy, so let's see what he's going to be running here. And I do really like my deck. I feel like I can outplay almost anything, except for like some Phoenix Mirror spam decks. Those would be really dumb. Oh, I guess I forgot to say, but the reason I included the Musketeer instead of like Archers or something else is because I mainly want to have a really good Phoenix counter if I can, and I feel like Musketeer is the best option. Even Archers are good, but Musketeer is also really nice against Elixir Golem, where there's a ton of E-Golem spam, so those are just the main reasons I put Musketeer in here. I also just really enjoy Musketeer. I think it's a really fun card to play. He does actually go with a pretty aggressive push here, but E-Spirit's going to shine and take care of all those bats, and as you can see, Musketeer's DPS is going crazy, whereas if those were Archers, they would still be doing decent DPS, but I don't think as much. I'm not actually sure on those numbers, but also he would have just been able to fireball them off, whereas Musketeer is more spell resistant, you know, does survive arrows. Another really huge thing, actually, Musketeer surviving arrows, and as you can see here, Monk's ability is really great at just getting guaranteed tower damage, and Musketeer actually does force out the spears as well, so this should be a really good matchup, even though I have Rocket, not Fireball, so sometimes you might want to Fireball in this matchup against like the gang or a bunch of clumped up stuff, but Rocket will still be really nice to Rocket Cycle with, and also in a rare situation, Rocket is really good against like Goblin Giant plus both Princes if I do log the Dark Prince's shield off, because Rocket will one-shot a Dark Prince, do a ton of damage to the Goblin Giant, and almost kill a Prince. I don't think it quite takes it out, but yeah, just gonna Tesla. Oh yeah, and the reason I'm using Tesla, well, number one, Tesla's the most standard tank in Xbow decks. Also just going to go Skeletons there to make sure the Prince doesn't charge. Pretty standard play there. And you're just going to pop my ability. This is a play I love. As you can see, if you have like a Tesla or a Musketeer, it can do really well. And I'm actually going to Xbow because he just zapped. I feel like that was an overcommitment. And yeah, now he has to Goblin Gang, and I'm actually going to try and kite this Dark Prince and make it jump. Okay, nice. We did get the play off, so that's really cool. I thought he was going to gang, so I was ready to log, but I'm glad I found another situation, or another solution rather, to what happened there. Anyways, just I love that play, making a Dark Prince jump, or a Prince, and forcing it to make the Xbow retarget. I really like that play. So we have a huge damage lead right now, and I don't think there's any chance we're going to lose this one, unless I choke big time, because this is quite a good matchup, especially with like Musketeer. He has to spend 6 Elixir to kill it with Fireball plus Zap, so it's just great. And again, Musketeer also survives arrows, is also really nice against Elixir Golem, and also Phoenix. So Phoenix is literally everywhere in the meta right now. Here is what I was talking about. Rocket gets really good value. As you can see, it one-shots the Dark Prince, almost takes out the Prince with like 1 HP left, and gets a ton of value. So I kind of needed to defensive Rocket there, and I actually got it. So I'm going to Expo right here. I just kind of feel like going in. I don't know, might be a mistake actually, could be a bad idea, but we'll see. Going to E-Spirit and then Monk ability to deflect the tower back at itself. It's really funny. And then I'm just going to log all of this, and we are going to get another connection actually. So it was actually a pretty good idea. Going to Skeletons for this. He might zap them, yeah, so it's fine. Going to E-Spirit to make sure the Prince doesn't charge onto my Musketeer. And yeah, this is like a really free matchup, honestly. Monk is also super good, by the way, against tanks like Giant, Royal Giant, and Goblin Giant, which is such a helpful change against 3.0, where I'm used to playing a Knight or sometimes Valkyrie in the last meta when I was playing Queen Bow Valk sometimes. And just going to pop my ability here, keep my Tesla alive, deflect the spears back at themselves, and just going to rocket the Prince, because again, it almost takes it out. And it looks like he did kind of throw my timing off by playing a Goblin Giant in front, but I'm honestly fine to rocket a Goblin Giant as well. Like, that is quite a lot of value too. I'm just going to get back to a Tesla, Skeletons as well, and he does have to Fireball Zap my Actually, looks like he just fireballed it off. I guess he got some other source of damage. This is getting a bit precarious, but I think we're fine. Yeah, just going to pop my ability. Okay, that didn't work out, but just going to E-Spirit as well. And it's not really the end of the world. I mean, he got a nice punish off by baiting out a rocket and, like, outplaying me by playing that Goblin Giant, but it's still fine. Going to Musketeer down low once more. Skeletons first and then Monk. If I went Monk, I don't think I could have gotten Skeletons in time to stop it. And as you can see, he was forced to zap Fireball and Musketeer, so I'm fine giving him spell value on Tower, honestly, because there's no way he's going to catch up to me. So yeah, I could honestly log Rocket that Dark Prince if I cycled really quick, but there's no need to be so aggressive. We're level 13 right now. It's kind of weird how the leagues change your levels. I guess some people might enjoy it because it makes it easier to push without having a max deck, but I think the leagues get max once they reach Grand Champion, which hopefully I can in this video. That's going to be game, though. I think that's enough damage. Okay, no, Rocket does 538, I've realized, so need to get back to a log, so just going to get back to one really quickly. And yeah, 2 HP, so that's going to be game. Really, really good matchup for me. And just shows how good Monk can be on defense again, even against like Goblin Giants and stuff without using the ability, or even when using the ability and not deflecting stuff just by tanking and soaking up damage. So that's going to put me 1 win closer, 2 wins away from Grand Champion. Alright guys, so we are looking for the next match and we found it against May. He has arrows on his profile or her, so hopefully it's not going to be like Eagle and spam with Phoenix. We'll see though. I guess it's not really indicative, the banner profiles of what people actually play in this, because the meta's kind of warped right now. It's really weird. Just going to muskie the back because he's not playing anything. And we do see the Electro Dragon, so this could be Elixir Golem. Most likely is actually, so it's going to be quite painful, but hopefully I can show you guys how to play against it with my deck. I feel like the best E-Golem players, which is kind of funny because like those two words don't really belong in a sentence, best and E-Golem, but anyways, just gonna expo with this Tesla. I feel like the best E-Golem players can cause a lot of trouble, and I've actually lost to Elixir Golem a fair amount while testing stuff out and trying to get to the perfect deck. Gonna log here and take the egg out, and then Monk for the E-Golem. Will keep my Tesla alive, as you can see, pushing the E-Golem away. And just gonna pop my Monk's ability if I can. I want to get some defense down first, though. I think it's more important to take out the blobs. Yeah, I got an ability now if I can, and I do actually get it off. Looks like it died right away, unfortunately, but yeah, Musketeer right there, as you can see. Musketeer got an infinite amount of value on that defense. Monk was also really nice, but Musketeer was just great because it's a ranged troop, and if they do run arrows, like a lot of E-Golem decks run arrows, E-Golem Rage especially, it just does a great job. So I think I'm just going to leak right here. I don't want to cycle Musketeer and then have him go E-Golem opposite lane and just ignore it and like go all in or something. That would be really silly, and I don't want to just waste that. He does go for arrows, actually. Yeah, exactly. He does have arrows in this deck. I'm going to cycle a Musketeer now. And so he actually, if I had archers, I would probably have lost or been in a really bad spot because he would have just arrowed away my archers, couldn't really do anything about it. But since I have Musketeer, it's spell resistant like to stuff like arrows, so it's amazing. And also I was saying earlier, I think I forgot to finish, just kind of talking about my deck construction. The reason I have a Tesla in here, not only is it like the main expo building anyways, but also it does great against the Phoenix because it takes it out, of course. Gonna rocket the E-Golem, or E-Dragon. And also it does great against the Monk because electricity doesn't count as a projectile in this game, so Monk deflects all projectiles, and it's not counted if it's a Tesla, so pretty nice stuff there. And gonna try and get a nice defensive rocket off on the blobs plus the Phoenix. Gonna log everything back as well. And the Phoenix is gonna respawn, but I'm back to another Musketeer. Gonna Skelly surround the Bomber. Looks like I actually messed that up, so gonna E-Spirit. And we actually are, as you can see, like, even though I have nice defense, Phoenix is so broken that it can still make it really hard. And that's what I was talking about, like the best E-Golem players, they could maybe cause issues. But as you can see, Monk ability there, just doing a great job. Gonna log on everything, the egg plus the blobs. And we do take the egg out before it respawns, so that should be game. Gonna go for an expo right here. Don't really see if you can stop this. I have a Monk, I have a Musketeer coming down. Although Monk is pretty much dead, but I might try and get a defensive rocket off. Okay, actually probably not worth it. You can't really rocket a Phoenix, unfortunately, because it will just respawn with the egg. It's quite dumb. Gonna get a log off on the Bomber plus the blobs, though. Skeletons to try and DPS down the egg as fast as possible. Even if it respawns, I don't really care, because at least this time I have a Musketeer still alive. I'm gonna expo right now. I think he lost because he just went arrows, mirror arrows. Like, he should be super low in Elixir right now. That is a 7 Elixir commitment, I believe. So gonna log these blobs plus the Bomber. And as you can see, Monk ability there is quite fun. Okay, looks like it's actually quite hard to get a lock, and I'm actually kind of making it close just by consistently going in and then him defending. So I think I'm just going to try and go for 2 rockets instead. Gonna switch up my game plan here. And that's another nice thing about Rocket, you know, if you can't break through. Yeah, he goes for a mirrored healer in the back, so that's just gonna be double rocket range now. And there's no way he can build up a big push in time. Gonna Monk the bridge and just like stall it out. As you can see, it pushes stuff back, so it's actually pretty fun for just stalling stuff out and just buying you time. And that's going to be game against a really toxic Golem mirror spam with the Phoenix. So as you can see, this is part of what I built my deck for, to counter the stupid meta and really obnoxious decks like these. So I think it worked really well, even though as you saw he got some damage at some point. We were still able to do okay. And now we're going to be 1 win away from Grand Champion so far. So hopefully I can get it. Let's try and go for the next match. Alright guys, and we are looking for the final match so far on a 3-game win streak, so if I can just get this 1 win, would be amazing. And I hope you guys have been enjoying the video. I know it's a bit different, because I am not playing 3.0, which I usually love, but again, I feel like it's really bad in this meta. I'll probably still make 3.0 videos at some point, but yeah, just trying my own deck out to counter the meta right now. And I know a lot of people don't have Monk Max, so you might not be able to play this deck, but hopefully I can still show you guys, you know, how I managed to make Xbow work in this meta. And yeah, I feel like you can still play with Knight in this deck, and he could be okay. It's just that the reason I like the Monk, again, is to counter opposing Monk. So right here, he does just Monk my Xbow, and as you can see, it literally just hard counters the Xbow, unfortunately, makes it hit itself, so no counterplay at all for the Xbow player. And looks like since he has Ice Spirit in here, it's just going to be a super fast cycle minor Phoenix deck with the Monk. A minor poison rather with Monk and Phoenix, and this is like just what the kind of meta has evolved into, or I guess devolved, because it's just really toxic. Like, these 2 cards are ridiculous. I don't want to complain too much. I know some people didn't like it, but I mean, I don't know what they were thinking with these cards and how balanced they were. I heard that the Phoenix was 5 Elixir before, and the egg took a lot longer to spawn, so they buffed it. But I still think this is just way too broken to be released right now, and I really hope they emergency nerf it. I don't know if they will, but we'll see. Anyways, let's go for a pretty aggressive minor poison right there. So I'm actually thinking I can go in, although I know he has Monk right here. Gonna E-Spirit to make sure the egg doesn't hatch, and I actually have Monk next up in cycle, so I'm gonna Xbow, and then Monk at the bridge to counter his Monk, and he should Monk my Xbow. Yeah, exactly. He's gonna pop my ability instantly. And look at this. This is exactly what I was talking about. They deflect each other, so it's just an endless kind of loop, and your Xbow does not get damaged. He does go for a Phoenix, going to Musketeer to DPS the Phoenix down instantly, get back to Skeletons for it as well, and I do get the Skeletons down, so really nice. I'm going to E-Spirit. He actually just mirrored his Skeletons, and Phoenix might respawn right here, unless... Okay, Musketeer was so clutch there, wow. And as you can see, this is exactly why I made my deck. I'm so happy I got to show this off to you guys, because this deck is like an ultra hard counter to Xbow, you know, minor, fast cycle with Monk and Phoenix. Pretty sure, yeah, he already has poison, he already used it. This is like the 100-0 against normal Expo decks, but since I do have the Monk myself, I have counterplay, and it feels great. So just gonna rocket right now. Like, there's no point going in anymore. I already got nice connection, so might as well just chill out. He might have mirror in here, I'm not sure. As you can see, he also has yeah, he does literally. Actually, he mirrored his Skeletons earlier, I think, so yeah. Gonna have to set up for defense here. Does go for a Monk, so here I'm gonna Tesla, and Tesla does great again because it does kind of block the opposing Monks. Or rather damage them without getting affected by the ability. Gonna Musketeer here, E-Spirit for the egg, and egg does get taken out, and other egg gets taken out. That was a perfect defense pretty much. As you can see, I used my Monk to defend my Musketeer and Tesla. Okay, log only does 70, so log rocket will not be enough. I actually think 2 logs in a rocket won't be enough anyways. I think I need 3 logs, but we'll see. He does go for a poison actually, so I'm just gonna rocket right now because Tesla will take care of the Phoenix. Wow, looks like he tried to deflect the rocket, but as you can see, you can't react to it actually. You have to predict the rocket, and someone actually did that to me before. It was a really nice play, I have to say, but yeah, you can't react, so just gonna get the next rocket down. There's no way he's gonna stop it. Monk is not in cycle, so that's gonna be a good game. Really nice win, and I hope you guys can see why I made my deck, my own custom Xbow Monk deck, just to hard counter, or not even hard counter, I don't think that's a hard counter for me, but just to try and beat other opposing Monk decks. And that's going to be Grand Champion League 8, almost there at Ultimate Champion. And we got 2 amazing rewards, the Legendary Wildcard and the Legendary King's Chest. So, yeah, again, I hope you guys enjoyed. That is, like, literally the definition of a really silly matchup that would just 100-0 Expo, but thanks to my creation, I was able to beat it, so I'm really happy about that. Let's go ahead and open up these rewards. We do get a Legendary Wildcard, and I think we might get another from this. I think these Legendary King's Chests have a chance to give them. Yeah, exactly. We got it. Nice. So those are going straight to the Phoenix, of course. Such a broken card. And we get Tombstone, I guess. Or actually, I guess 3M and Expo, of course, because Expo is what I used to get here. E-Giants or Drill is going to take Drill, and then we get 2 Legendaries. And we also get a Champion, I believe, in this chest guaranteed. So that is amazing. I think I'm going to take the Sparky because Mother Witch is already max stack. And I already have all champions maxed. I already maxed my Monk with 2 Book of Books. Or Books of Books. I don't know the plural for it. But, yeah, we got a lot of gold from that as well. Like, as you can see, I got like 50k gold, which is insane. Instantly going to use those wild cards on the Phoenix as well because it's such a broken card. Almost have it maxed, or at least close to max because I can Book of Books it next season. But yeah, that's going to be my push to Grand Champion with my own custom Monk Bow deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, I'm really happy I've been having some success with my own creation. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.